Imagine living in a world controlled by numbers attached to your body. And once the number reaches 0, you will be sent into the abyss. The story begins with a girl named Hina. She lives in a post-apocalyptic town called Alcia, where the people all have numbers attached to their body, which can represent anything about that person's life. For example, the amount of times you helped someone out, or the amount of times you got cheated on, or even how many times you were rejected by a girl. 5 years ago, Hina was watching her mother being taken into the abyss because her number dropped to a 0, and the last thing she told her daughter was to find the guy called the legendary Ace, and gives her a glass orb with the over 10,000 inside it. Hina is talking to her friends about the legendary Ace, when suddenly a masked man appears out of nowhere and scares her friends away. The man introduces himself as Lick Bok, a very mysterious and strange guy who starts to look at Hina's number, as it was placed right on the side of her thigh. He tries getting a closer look, so she kicks him and then she runs away. Lick chases after her and then she gets help from a girl called Nana. She seems to know who Lick is and tells him to leave her alone. Nana owns a restaurant and offers Hina some food and asks for her name. So she writes her name down in Chinese, which impresses Nana. Nana goes on to ask Hina where her parents are, and she told Nana that her mother was dragged into the ground and she didn't understand what happened. So Nana explains to Hina that everyone in this city has a number on their body, and the numbers are what control their world. From the moment they're born, they're all obligated to have a number which will count a specific thing about their life. She tells Hina that her number, which currently marks 77, is how many times people told her her food was delicious, and when they say it's bad, the number will decrease. She asks Hina about her number, which marks 441, and Lick tries getting a closer look, so Nana threw him away, sending him flying into the trees. She goes on to ask Hina what her number represents, to which she replies, saying that her mother told her that her number is the distance she's walked, and it goes up 1 after every 100 kilometers. She tells Nana that she's always walking, because she's been searching for a guy known as the legendary Ace her whole life. Nana tells her that there's one more important thing about the numbers, which is a rule that you cannot disobey a person who has a higher number than you. She tells her that it's basically like a social status and to always remember this important rule. Suddenly, some guards appear, and one of the guards, named Sergeant Davy, has a number on his face, but with a star next to it. And he told Hina that he is the legendary Ace she's been searching for. She begins to cry as she's been waiting for this moment her whole life. Then the man who claimed to be the legendary Ace takes Hina, and he tries getting closer with her, but she stops him by distracting him with the mysterious orb her mother left her. But when she pulls out the orb, they all get stunned, and the guards all draw for their swords. The sergeant also gets up and asks her to hand over the ball. But when she refuses, the guy gets mad and warns Hina, but she tells him that because she has a higher count than him, he can't attack her, and must obey her commands. So he immediately stops and listens to her orders. But right after, he tells Hina that he will bet on his stars against her, and asks Hina for a star stick, which is what they call a duel, and whoever wins will take the count from the loser, and it will be added to their own count. And this is the only way the sergeant can avoid listening to her orders. Hina has to accept the duel, otherwise she will be instantly sent to the abyss. They have a duel, but she surrenders easily as she's not a fighter, and giving the win to the sergeant. Then the hands come out of the ground and take away Hina's number, leaving her at only a 1. They give the number to the sergeant, which gets added onto his own, since he was the winner of the duel. Hina is confused and scared, and doesn't understand why the legendary Ace would do such a thing. Then he reveals to Hina that he was faking this whole time, and admits that he's not the real legendary Ace, and he was lying all this time to cheat Hina for the orb. But before he could steal the orb, suddenly Lick appears to save Hina. He shows the sergeant his number on his hand, which is a -999, and Lick challenges the sergeant to a star stake. The sergeant starts laughing, and says why would he duel with someone with a negative number. The sergeant feels insulted that such a low number would ask such a thing, so he begins to attack Lick. But while fighting, his companions warn him that he's fighting someone with a negative count, which isn't normal, as any other normal person would hit 0, and then be instantly taken into the abyss. He suddenly realizes this, and stops the fight to ask who he is. Then Lick pulls out his sword, revealing his second number, which is 5700 with a star next to it. And Hina realizes he is the real legendary Ace that her mother wanted her to find. The sergeant doesn't believe he's a real legendary Ace, and tells him he's bluffing, and that all the aces were gone 300 years ago. The sergeant convinces all his guards that he must be a fake ace, so they start to attack Lick. Then Lick tells Hina to close her eyes, and he uses his super flash speed ability, which cracks the ground and takes out the guards. The sergeant is shocked and can't believe he's now challenging a real legendary ace. Licht demands the sergeant to give the number back that he stole from Hina. However, the sergeant tries one last time to defeat Licht and uses all his strength, as he's known as the greatest swordsman in the town. But Licht simply dodges all his moves like it's nothing. While fighting the sergeant, Nana was serving food to a customer who asked her what the noise was, and she tells him it's the legendary ace. She explains that a legendary ace has 2 numbers, and Lich has 5,700 on his blade, which represents the amount of foes he's slain in battle. But the other number given to him on his hand counts the amount of times he's been rejected by women, which is -999. She goes on to explain that the legendary aces emerged around 300 years ago to fight a battle known as the Waste War, and they were marked with white shining stars and possess abilities far greater than any regular human warrior. Licht wins the duel with the sergeant, and the hands from the abyss come out of the ground to take the sergeant's number and gave it all to Hina, which makes her really happy. But right after that, Licht stole the orb that her mother gave her and told her he can sell it for a fortune. He told her this orb is known as a ballet, which is a powerful orb used to increase someone's power. She asks him why he would do that to her, and he said, perhaps I'm not the legendary ace you're looking for, since there are others known as aces besides him. He drops a doll on the floor and told her he will give this in exchange for the ballot. Then he flies away, abandoning Hina. So a sad Hina starts walking back to the village and meets Nana at the restaurant. She begins to cry and tells Nona she can't believe the legendary ace would do something like this. Then Nana told her to open the doll that Licht gave her, and to her surprise the ballot was actually inside the doll. Nana told Hina that Licht plundered the ballot from her, only to protect her from the Alshian law, which states that you cannot own a ballot, and she would have been branded a criminal in the eyes of the law, and would have been hunted down by the guards who knew about it. Licht knew she wouldn't last long unless he acted like he was the one who took the ballot, but he quickly stuffed it inside the doll for Hina, so she would eventually find it. After finding out his real intentions, she quickly runs after him before he leaves the city, while shouting out his name. But she was too late as Licht was already too far away. Then she begins to cry, saying how she hates him and that he's a liar. At this moment, Licht's number changes from -999 to -1000. After some days passed, we are introduced to 2 other characters named Sergeant Lin Mei and Sergeant Peel, who are currently searching for the legendary ace, as he is wanted by the law. Lin is a somewhat clumsy girl, and her number represents the amount of times she's helped other people, so she's constantly helping as many people as she can. She normally goes around helping those in need. After, her partner Peel tells her that the more important thing right now is this criminal who is still at large, and goes by the name Licht Bach. The description states he is a legendary ace who will most likely disguise himself with an unusual mask. A few moments later, they were walking through the town and come across Licht, who is wearing a strange mask and dressed up like a dessert. Lin walks over and told Licht she knows who he is, but he promises it's not him in the poster, and convinces Lin by saying that the mask he's wearing is completely different from the one in the poster. He then tells her that he wears a mask because he's been rejected by 1,000 women and can't bear to look another woman in the eyes. So Peel tells Lin that this is a chance for her to increase her count by going on a date with Licht. So they spend the day together holding hands and having a meal, and the more Licht enjoys himself, the higher Lin's number will increase. Then suddenly, Peel stops the date and told Lin the guy there with is definitely the legendary ace, as the number on his hand is -1000, and any other normal person can't be in the minus numbers because once they hit 0 they will be sent to the abyss. Lin realizes this, then takes the mask off Licht, which reveals he is the man on the poster. So she begins to kick Licht, but he easily dodges all her moves and quickly escapes. Later on, Hina is talking to Nana and tells Nana she wants to go searching for Licht. Then suddenly a man appears. He's a lieutenant of the royal guards from Alcia, called Jail Murdoch. He told Nana to tell him where Licht is, or they will be arrested. So she told him he went east, and so the troops begin their search to find the legendary ace. Soon the lieutenant finds Licht and tries to apprehend him, but he breaks free and begins to fight all the guards. Obviously Licht wins the fight pretty easily by using his abilities. Then right after, the lieutenant tells his men to stand down. He then asks Lin to explain to everyone what a ballot holder is, and why they want him arrested. So she explains that a ballot is a ball with an illegal count, and those who hold a ballot can obtain special abilities. For instance, the lieutenant is a ballot holder who can do iron manipulation. He can create iron objects to use in combat situations, such as iron spikes and structures to use to his advantage. But the strength of the ballot's ability depends on the current count on your body. And Licht expresses how Jail's count is only 900, and his count is at 570, so it wouldn't be wise to fight him. But Jail doesn't care and begins to attack Licht with his iron abilities. After seeing Jail's powers, Licht uses his super speed to confuse him and tries to escape. But Jail also teleports into the sky and takes out Licht with a gigantic iron tower. After knocking down Licht, Jail removes his fake count on his hand